Awesome.
Yeah, how's it going? You guys look great.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm trying to
Good.
determine, is this lighting okay?
Mel,
Yeah,
you've done
I
this once before, right?
who me?
No, Mel.
Yeah,
Mel's done this before, yeah.
I
Any
did this
tips?
one.
Any tips for a rookie?
Did you already throw up?
That's the tip.
That's number one.
We're gonna have fun tonight. We're doing this. This is great. I just gotta say, I appreciate a lot of things, but I really appreciate people that are early to free student showcases. That's I think the thing I appreciate the most, and I really appreciate Pearl, Lena, Warren, all of the audience. See that? So hello everyone. I feel like we are at our 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 critical mass for tonight's showcase. So I want to welcome everybody, one and all, to an amazing night, to a no, sorry, a stand-up comedy showcase performance from your friends. Give it up for them right now. Go ahead. Well, welcome everyone to the show. We are now, I think, in a good place to start the actual comedy portion of the show. And please give it up for Mel G.
Yay!
Woo!
Thank you so much. I before I even start, I just want to say thank you to Corey. Corey is just such a great teacher. He's funny. He's irreverent, and if you tip him, he'll give you really good feedback. So I think it's well worth it. And if you have any interest in being a storyteller or telling funny stories, take his classes. Just go to his website and sign up. It's really really fun. So unfortunately, though, I'm really not here to talk about Corey. I'm here to talk about myself. And what I want you to know to begin with is that I was born and raised in Los Angeles. And my parents, I was kind of a post war baby, so my parents had very, very, very high expectations for me. They wanted me to become a doctor or a lawyer or even more so, a screenwriter. So my main memory of them was of them just hanging out and lying on the couches. And I'm sure that's what influenced me to actually become a psychologist. I pursued psychology with vigor and a very focused pursuit. I took all the classes, I read all of the books, I got all of the degrees, and I impersonated the great analysts. So tell me, what was it that mommy, mother used to say to you when you would make a duty in your pants? Oh, and, and and how did you feel when you came home from school one day and found the doggy was gone, and nobody ever mentioned doggy again? Oh, I see. I see. Well, uh, I will tell you that the weird thing about being a psychologist is people actually expect a lot from you, and you have to pretend to know things that you have no idea about. I remember one of my very first patients. She was probably in her 40s. She came to see me about her 14-year-old son, a topic I knew nothing about. I didn't know anything about teenage sons. I didn't know anything about adolescence, really. But that didn't stop me from giving her top notch advice. Dr. G, my son comes home from school every day. He grabs a snack and he locks himself in his bedroom. My husband isn't very happy about that. He thinks our son should be spending more time with us, quality family time. He thinks his son is sulky. He's ungrateful. and he wants to send him to military school. I don't want that. Dr. G, what do you think I should do? Well, have you encouraged your son to spend time with the family? And have you ever asked your son if he's learned his lesson yet? Oh, you have. Well, when your son is at school, have you ever surveilled his bedroom and confiscated his drugs, his weapons, and his porno? Oh, you have. Well, clearly then you only have two choices. You can call the cops, or you can just tell your husband. Either way, the kid's going into the army or to jail or to hell. It was only 15 minutes into the session. She stood up. She had her coat in hand. She said, Dr. G, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. You are such an idiot. Wait, Helen, wait. We can explore that. Helen, just how does me being an idiot make you feel? Sadly, I knew she was right. That didn't stop me, though, from dispensing lots more bad advice to lots more patients over the course of the next 40 years. And you know what I learned? Patients actually want you to give them good advice. They expect you to care. But caring requires you to have empathy? Ugh. I guess it's obvious I really had none. So every morning and every night, I would practice the British Royal Air Force empathy exercises. Tissue? 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 I guess it's clear that empathy didn't run in my family. I was really raised by wolves, at least the Ukrainian Russian wolfhound type. My parents were tall, skinny, long-haired, and aggressive when confronted. Now, throughout my career, I sensed that patients, they didn't really want me to be a real person. Somebody actually just recently told me that. They wanted me to be better than a real person. I bet you only have good relationships, don't you, Dr. G, in your private life? And that you've mastered how to solve your own problems. I bet you've never lost your temper screaming at your neighbor over her very poorly trained cat who comes into your yard just to scratch up your patio furniture, eat your plants, and bring you dead birds and rats. That's right, Harvey. You can't accuse me of having laid down double stick tape all over my patio or having a loaded 3-liter super cat soaker at the ready at all times. Needless to say, the years rolled by. I dispensed all kind of advice, good, bad, indifferent. So when I was in my middle 60s, I began thinking about retiring. But I needed a sign that I was ready, that the time was right. I was referred an 85-year-old woman who was grieving the loss of her 60-year wife, of her wife of 60 years. After our 6th session, I asked the same question I usually asked. Would you like me to make you another appointment to come back and see me? She looked at me with a very sweet but slightly bewildered look. Well, honey, I would be happy to come back and see you and have you make an appointment for me. You're such a nice lady, and I really enjoy our chats. But I have one question. Have we ever met before?
All right, Mel G. Give it up for Mel G in the in your own way. Yes.
Woo!
That's it. I love it.
Mel G.
Mel G. Mel G. Mel G. Yeah, dance it out, lady. Dance it out. All right. Mel G is a superstar. Give it up if you love Mel G. Woo! We all do. All right. We have more wonderful fun for you coming up tonight. Just to remind everyone, this is a student showcase. We basically, this is a result of 4 weeks, 4 stand-up classes to learn the concepts, principles of writing jokes and performing them. And so for many of the people, this is their first time, including our next act. So please welcome to the stage our next performer, Annie Wong. Woohoo!
Hey, they're just not going to hear our.
Welcome to comedy in 2021, y'all. Hi, my name is Annie Wong, and I know what some of you might be thinking. The name like Wong, she's not originally from here, is she? No, she is not. You're absolutely right. I am, in fact, originally from Texas. Can't hide it, y'all. Oh, also, I'm Chinese. I do consider myself both a Texan and a Chinaman, so that means I make sure to take off my cowboy boots before entering the house. Now, growing up in Texas with a face like this, not easy. People would always make assumptions about my life. I will never forget the time there was this kid named Matthew in middle school. He took one look at me and turned to his friend and he said, "I bet she knows karate." Ew. What a racist little jerk. Karate is Japanese. I'm Chinese. Learn your Asians. But also, other kids in school thought I knew like ancient Chinese secrets. Oh, I wish I knew the secrets. No, my parents didn't bother passing on any of those to me. You may have heard of this idea about immigrants having like an enormous work ethic. Not my parents. There's a word in Cantonese called ma fan. Ma fan. And it basically translates to mean too much trouble. So annoying. Pain in the ass. And they use this on me all the time, whenever they didn't want to do anything. So it would go like this. "Hey, Mom, will you sew me a costume for the school play?" No, that's too fun. Just buy a costume from Walmart. "Hey, Mom, will you drive me to Austin tomorrow for an extracurricular field trip?" No, that's too fun. Stay home. Your grades are fine. "Mom, I need you to nurture my emotional well-being and verbally tell me you love me." Oh, ma fun. I feed you dinner every night. That's good enough. So, as is the natural order of things, I rebelled against my lazy ass parents. I decided I was going to attack life with an excessive amount of effort. This is what I told them. Screw you, mom and dad. I'm out of here. I'm moving to California. I'm taking out a whole bunch of federal loans and I'm going to go to school so that I can embark on a career as an artist in a capitalist economy. Such effort. And I'm not going to do it just one time. I'm going to do it 2 times. I'm going to take out some more federal loans so that I can go to grad school to earn an MFA. Now, I thought MFA meant Master of Fine Arts degree, but what I ended up earning was major financial agony. Ugh. Here's the thing. I went to school to study animation. And you may be thinking, oh, that's cool. Like you draw cartoons for Disney. No, 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 no. Because 2 dimensions is not enough for me. Not hard enough. I need more dimensions. I became a stop motion animator. And if you don't know what that is, it's called stop motion animation because it means stop interacting with the outside world. Let me tell you the degree of fun that my job is. Monday through Friday, I come into the studio, I shut the door, I black out my windows like a murderer. And then I proceed to push these little puppets around millimeters at a time and take photographs of them so that by the end of the week, I have 3 seconds of video. 5 if I'm really feeling it. And this is why I have no friends. Because you see, stop motion animation is so laborious. I do not have time for friends. So I bought one. And let me tell you, therapy is going really great. My friend that I pay is named Tracy. And every week, Fridays at 4 p.m., we get together, we go on a friend date. I mean, she calls them sessions, but I know that is what the kids call friend dates these days, right? So Tracy and I, we get together and we just talk about like all the things that best friends talk about, you know, like relationships, and how complicated they are, the non-stop grind and hustle of work. Also, how when I'm anticipating rejection, my parasympathetic nervous system goes haywire and I slip into a panic attack, like normal BFF stuff. And I love Tracy. She's super chill. I love that we just sit, we talk and we talk and we talk and we talk about my life. And when I say we, it is usually me doing the talking. I don't really know very much about her life, but that's because she's such a good listener. I do know she is super punctual because every time after 60 minutes, she's like, we have to wrap up now. Let's schedule your next session. Oh, I think that's so sweet that she always wants to make sure we have our next friend date scheduled. As it turns out, I like talking about myself so much that I decided to try comedy because Tracy would always laugh at the things that I'd tell her and like, that's a good sign, right? And if you think about it, therapy and comedy are really similar. They both require you to be a little bit vulnerable. They're both about taking your stories and reframing them. And if your session goes really well, you end up in tears. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, give it up for Annie. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Clap for Annie.
Yeah.
Good job.
Man.
Hey, Annie.
Wong, thank you so much.
Beautiful, great.
Love it.
Totally crushed it. I have a terrible thing to confess. My daughter's in 7th grade, and we were talking today about she has an older teacher, and we were talking about vaccines. She was like, "Well, maybe my teacher doesn't need it." That was a terribly mean thing to say, right? She was terribly mean. She didn't want her teacher to get the vaccine because she hates her. Okay, let's keep the show going. Let us welcome to the stage our next stand-up. Please welcome the wonderful, the talented, the gloriously, what's the word for you, Laura? The precise and the well-lit Laura Van Slyke, everyone. Give it up.
Woo-hoo. Hey, y'all. Hey. Well, I guess secret's out. I've been taking a comedy class. It's this class. Real talk. I've been doing some research about comedy. How do they do it? I've been watching some masters, listening to podcasts. Turns out that comedians all have one thing in common other than debilitating depression. And that's that they love to talk about where they are physically located. Every single set, I promise you, it starts out with the same conversation. Comedian walks in. Hey, Philadelphia. The crowd loves it. The crowd loves it. Nobody loves anything as much as a crowd loves being told where they live. Philadelphia. And then they say something apt. Like, I heard it's always sunny here, but I saw a cloud. What's up with that, Philadelphia? So anyway, you can imagine how tricky it was to think about what in the world I would say to you lovely folks as we meet on this internet web program called Zoom. And I've got a few that I'd like to try out that have come up this evening. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to audience member David Fritz over there by the Golden Gate Bridge. You have the most visible laugh I've ever seen in my life. I love it. Anytime we got a good joke, David Fritz is over there throwing his hands over the Golden Gate Bridge. It is amazing. I have a first grade student who does that. I'm a first grade teacher. Kids are so used to being on mute all the time now that they don't laugh anymore. They think they're muted all the time. And this one kid who would just go like this every time I said something. And I thought he was on mute, but then I would hear his parents talking in the background. And homeboy was just pretending to laugh all over his face. Okay, so anyway, here's my attempt to be a comedian tonight. What's up, Zoom? I have never seen such a raucous collection of rectangles. There is more reverb in this room than an empty bathroom blasting Enya hits. Who can say only time? Okay, would you guys like to play a game? I play a lot of games with my first grade students. I'd love to play a game with you. If you've ever been to a sleepover, you've played this game before. It's called Never Have I Ever. Okay. So the basic idea is I'll say something I've never done, maybe something I have done. And if you've done it, you've got to put a finger down. Okay. And in this game, we're only going to play it with one finger. So usually you play this with like, I think 10 fingers, 7 fingers, 6, whatever you've got laying around. For tonight's game, we're going to play it with one finger. I'd like everybody to put up one finger. Yeah, look at that. Oh my Gosh, you could be first graders. I'm telling you right now, I see them all day, every day, and you could be them. You're really good at this. Okay. Never have I ever. All right. Never have I ever avoided contact with other human beings for 10 months in order to not spread a global plague. Oh, down. Okay. That wasn't a joke. I just wanted to read the room and see who's following basic public health guidelines. I hope that you've been avoiding human contact for 10 months. I have been. Tonight's set's going to be about COVID. I know you want to talk about that more. I'm a single lady, living alone in a global pandemic. TBS should pick up that comedy sketch show. Anyway, and you know what I think is really important, and I know you hear this all the time, but it is really important. You've got to think about what you've gained. We all have to, reflect on what we've gained. We've all lost so much. We can agree this has been a huge, significant period of loss. So we've got to remember what we've gained. And if you'll humor me, I made a list this morning, things I've gained in COVID. Okay. Something I've gained in COVID, 16.4 pounds. Anyone? Okay. I also got a cat. Anyone else here get a pet in COVID? A lot of people have gotten cats, but what most people don't know is that the French word for cat is chat. The French, they don't like T's at the end of words, so chat. But the French word for kitten, chaton. Chaton, as in you shat on my bed again. Little rascal. Other things I've gained, an unjustifiably large collection of tabletop puzzles. That one's sort of a win-lose. You gain a puzzle, you lose a counter space. No, but seriously, puzzles are like the golf of indoor leisure. Like the ratio of how much enjoyment occurs versus how much real estate is occupied by a puzzle, by a game of golf. I'm from Arizona. Whole state is a giant golf course, sprinkled with a few lawyer billboards. Another thing I've gained, I have gotten into a very interesting relationship. Didn't see that coming. I've gotten into a really interesting relationship with a personal trainer. I know what you're thinking. Relationship with a personal trainer. All right. Who's doing her COVID? Okay, but real talk, she's my personal trainer. She's not a human. She lives on my fitness watch. Her name is Amy. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, Laura, it's not a real relationship. She's a fitness watch personal trainer, whatever. But there's a lot of benefits to having a personal trainer on your fitness watch in these times. Number one, have you ever been with someone who pays attention to you? Real talk. She pays attention to me. She not only does she pay attention to me, but she pays attention to my heart rate. I feel so seen. My blood oxygen levels. It's nice to be watched. It's nice to be watched. She sends me these flirtatious little buzzes on my wrist. Amy, every time I hit a step count. But the thing is, in COVID, like we don't really see other people. We don't touch other people. At least I don't. So we start to experience what's called skin deprivation. And I've realized that I've started to think about Amy in the way that one would think about touching an ungloved hand in like a Victorian era romance. You know, like there's no skin involved. Everybody's all covered up in the, oh, thou dost touch it, my ungloved hand. Nary a good word will be said about that young woman. Nary again. Skin deprivation. Anything can be an erogenous zone when you've been locked in your house for 10 months. Let me tell you that, folks. All right, here's my last COVID bit. In the beginning of COVID, really wanted human contact, really wanted human contact. And I I started listening to a lot of audio erotica, which is great. There's all these different stories that are out there. I found this app that's for women, by women. There's all kinds of good stuff. You know, him, her, her, you, her, him, her, who, you, him, her. There's all these different categories. So like month 1 COVID was, you know, audio erotica, all these different ways that humans talk to each other. Someone's in your ears. Month 10 COVID, I'm going straight to the spot where you just fall asleep next to someone. And I'm serious. There are actual recordings where someone tucks you in and just says, "You've had a long day." You say, "Yeah, I've had a really long day. I think you should get some sleep." Okay. I'm going to go work on my dissertation by the fire. That's it.
Woo! Laura Van Slyke, unmute yourself and give it to her. Oh, him.
Laura!
Oh, great. Thank you, Laura. Oh my gosh. I know what I'm doing tonight. I know who's putting me to bed. All right. Hey everyone. Everybody having a good time?
Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
We have a wonderful noob on the scene. Stand up for you tonight. I see her trying to get out of the camera. No, you can't get away. You can't get away because you're next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage for the first time, Clara Vaknin, everybody. Give it up. Woo-hoo!
Woo!
You guys, whisper. Shh. Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, I'm Clara. I have to whisper. I literally just put my baby to sleep. His name is Ethan. He's so cute. He's 31, and I really wish he would help me more take care of my son. Okay, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm a new mom, and okay, don't worry. I know you see me thinking, don't worry, I'm not a super mom. When you have a baby, everything becomes so hard. But it's really nice because my family's been so supportive. Clara, good job. You brushed your hair this morning. We're so proud of you. Clara, I'm so proud. You are wearing something besides leggings today. Way to go, Mama. I see you. Or, you know, like it's hard out there, guys. I don't want to be a super mom. That is so much pressure. I just want to be a mediocre mom. Okay? You know, these super moms out there, they're trying to get into the best preschools. I'm a mediocre mom. I'm just trying to pay for my own comedy school. There's super moms out there spending so much time making, you know, organic homemade meals from scratch, because you got to think about babies, brain development. You really have to like invest in that microbiome diversity. You know, I'm over here. My baby is eating my potted plant. That's a fiddle leaf is basically a vegetable, right? You guys are with me. All right, thanks. The holidays are over. Thank God. Oh, it's a new year. It's a new us. Do you guys remember, you know, that feeling of Christmas morning? You went downstairs and you were so excited to open up those new presents. I don't. I grew up in a really frugal household. It was a big deal to get something new. You know, all my friends called me Lisa until the 5th grade because that was the name on my sweatshirt. Then I got a new backpack and everybody called me Brett. But you know what? Sometimes it was a big deal and my parents did buy new things. Like my dad bought a new 1972 Dodge Aspen in 1994. You know what? I loved that car. It had like really cool duct tape bumper detailing and these really cool like psychedelic saran wrap windows. Okay, and the best part was there was a Lazy Susan in it where the steering wheel should have been. You know, who needs power windows? Like, I got to work on my biceps. You know, kids, these are man-powered windows. And I mean, honestly, a 7-disc CD player is really overrated. We had this really janky, like, cassette tape player, and every song that came out of it was like whale noises. Ooh. And then there was, you know, my friends with the really cool AC on humid days. Not the Hirsch family. All the kids would gather around. We just have that cool breeze from the hole in the floor. Like, oh, what? Oh, roadkill or pothole. And, you know, now that I'm a parent and the older I get, it's just, I can't help turning into my parents. You know, I'm looking at my baby and I'm like, why do I need to get new toys? He's not going to tell the difference. He will literally play with a shoe for 30 minutes and be happy. So listen, guys, when you see me out there on the streets of San Francisco and it's me and my baby and he's chewing on a fiddle leaf, leaf, and I'm pulling him around in a rusty radio flyer with 3 wheels, don't feel bad for us. Don't judge me, because we're going back home and we're going to go listen to some dope music. Ooh. Thank you, guys. That's all for me tonight.
Clara Vaknin, unmute yourself. Now do it like a whale. Yes, amazing. Oh, I like the off-camera cheering. Amazing. Okay, fantastic. Clara, great job, great work, and we didn't wake the baby. I hope that was my biggest hope for the whole thing. All right, let's keep the show going. Please welcome to the stage our next act, the wonderful, the talented, the one and only Paige Rodgers.
you doing? So, a little about me. I've got 2 kids, teenage girls, and it sucks. Like raising teenagers. Totally diminishing returns. I don't understand why it is that the new parents get all the perks, like all the presents and the parties. I kind of feel like parents of teenagers should have their own gift registry and shower. Like, oh my God, Emily, 6 therapy sessions? I was almost out. Thank you so much. Oh my God, Kirsten, seriously, a wine club membership? We really needed that. Thank you. And Jen, a dispensary gift card? You are the best sister ever. I love you guys. Yeah. So while I was a teenage girl once, it is so different now than it was back then. I mean, now they can be TikTok famous in a day, where I was just fantasizing about being on MTV's, Real World. Now they are obsessed with their cell phones, and I was obsessed with my crimping iron. And the girls these days, they shave all their pubic hair. And I shave to, I don't know, like right below the knee. I still have a bush. I mean, it's tidy and it's well maintained. It's not like Land of the Wild back in my mom's generation. Back then, it was like he had little spiders crawling out of the side of her bathing suit bottoms. If her bush had an anthem song, hers would be "Welcome to the Jungle," where I feel like mine is a little more "Mary had a little lamb, little lamb." And my daughter, maybe a little smooth operator. So yeah, when my daughter found out that I had hair down there, you may as well have thought I just told her I was an alien. She was like, "What? You have hair down there? Why? Like, why don't you just shave it all off like normal people? You are so weird." But that's pretty much how all of our conversations end these days. Like, "Hey, honey, dinner's ready." Dinner? Like, why do you say it that way? Why can't you just say it like normal people? You're so weird. I mean, I asked her the other day if she had any homework, and she was like, "Why wouldn't I? You're so weird." And it was a Saturday. So yeah, I mean, it's hard. And I'm telling you, we don't even get the meal deliveries like you get with babies. If there was ever a time that I needed a meal delivery, it was teaching my kid how to drive. Like every time I thought I was going to die, both before and after she got her license. Every near-death experience, though, was my fault. Like, "Oh my God, we are going the wrong way down a one-way street." Yeah, Mom, if you didn't freak out so much, that wouldn't have happened. Really? Where was the meal delivery for that shitty milestone? Or when they come home for the first time and they throw up everywhere, meal delivery. Or when your kid hits the neighbor's mailbox again and your insurance rates go up again, meal delivery. Or the safe sex talk where they roll their eyes the whole time and go, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, no means no. No means no. Ew, I wouldn't even do that. You're so weird." Please, I need a home-cooked meal dropped off at my doorstep, stat, and maybe weekly. So then, what is the deal with the gender reveal parties? They're ridiculous and totally pointless. Like, doesn't anyone realize that gender doesn't matter anymore? I kind of feel like instead we should be having, when they turn around 13, a pronoun reveal party, where friends and family come over and I'll make cupcakes and it'll be spelled out and surprise, she, her, he, him. Like, oh my God, you've got a days down. Congratulations. Or I always knew you were going to have a Zazier. I actually do totally appreciate that kids are so much more open right now about their sexual orientation or gender identity. I mean, honestly, if somebody had asked me what my pronoun was when I was a teenager, I might have said, it's the one for like kind of slutty and likes to drink Diet Coke and rum out of a big old cup and really wants that hot guy to slip me his sausage. Something like that, anyway. But, you know, if you didn't get it already, being a parent of teens is hard for some people. Actually, maybe just for me, but it's also enlightening. And me and my tidy bush are gonna try not to take it so personally when my girls call me weird, because you know what? They're gonna have a teenager one day, and then they're gonna know. And I'm gonna be there saving the day with the therapy sessions and the wine club memberships and the meal deliveries. Thank you.
Woo! Yes, baby. Yeah, let her hear it. Oh, so good. So good. Oh. Gosh, that's amazing. I love you. Thank you for that. All right, we have 3 more stand-ups tonight. We had a last minute someone who couldn't had some technical troubles and couldn't dial in. So our friend Andrew is not going to be joining us tonight. So our next act is going to be the one and only, my wonderful friend, the one and only Darcy Lee. Give it up.
Darcy! Woo! Darcy!
Darcy!
Woo!
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Corey. You are such a rock star. So I'm Darcy. I'm 68, right? And I say that with expectation. I say that with, whoa. I want you to say, you look so good. I say it all the time. I'm 68. I'm fucking old. And yet I'm still in this woman's need validation from my looks. When's this gonna end? Am I gonna be 90 and say, I'm 90, and expect you to say, wow, you don't look a day over 83? Really, when's it end? I'm old as fuck. When I was little, my mom taught me my phone number. Really. My phone number was 629M. 4 digits. I mean, I was 5. And we did get a 10-digit number eventually. But wow. I've had so much trouble writing this set. I'm like, you're 68. Why are you doing stand-up? Why would you torture yourself like this? I'm in a marketing group and we do a work session for an hour and a half on Tuesdays, 8:30 till 10. And I brought stand-up to that work session. The guy who runs it, he says, I'm going to set what I want to accomplish by lighting a candle. And so I lit a candle too. Like, I want to accomplish my stand-up set. Some people are there, they're like typing. We're all on Zoom. We all have our screens on. Some people are like typing. That doesn't really look like typing. And some people are like, maybe they're reading emails. I don't know. but we all are there together working. So the second hour and a half in, I get a phone call. I think, I shouldn't answer my phone. I'm writing in a notebook with a Frixion pen. Like, that's how old school I am. And a Frixion pen erases with friction. With when you rub it, it erases. It's so cool. And I put my notebook down because I got a phone call. And then I hear crackling. My notebook is literally on fire. Oh my God, I turn into like the Lucy show. I'm like, stomping. I got it out. Then I realize, oh my God, I'm on Zoom. I had like a little like Jeffrey Tubin moment. Everyone's watching me. But then I look at my gallery, no one's watching me. It just like happened. No one knew. At the break, I told people, they laughed. I texted my daughter and I said, my notebook just caught on fire in a work circle and it's empty now because it was with Frixion and it was on fire, so it's blank. She said, Mom, put it in the freezer. All the words will come back. I'm like, wow, okay. So here is what I learned, right? What a lesson. When I worked on being funny, funny just happened. When I do something I think only younger people should do, I am younger, instantly. So here's some of my notes from my notebook. When I donate to a charity and they want to send me a tote, I say, fuck off. I don't need any more totes. No more totes. The world doesn't need any more bags. I also have enough mini USB cords. And have you plugged in a less satisfying plug than a mini USB? It's like having sex for the first time. Is this thing in? How does a trend get started? One of my kids doesn't use shampoo. All of a sudden, no one is shampooing their hair. Does someone hear that phrase? I'm gonna stop using shampoo. Me too, I'm gonna stop too. I have a Volvo. When I get my car washed, at the car wash, they yell out, vulva, vulva. I say, that's me. I was turning left on Mission Street the other day, and there's a billboard that says, 40% of fatalities are from left-hand turns. While I was turning left. What? Take that down.
That's a bad place to put it.
I got offered an exclusive 6 months women's empowerment course online. I stayed to hear the pitch. I wanted to know how much I'd have to pay to learn more about my femininity, my power. Near the end, it was gently announced that it's $35,000, 6 months. I knew immediately I'd rather have $35,000. I can find other ways to find my femininity. Did I mention I'm 68? Thank you.
Darcy Lee! Woo!
Great.
Woo! Darcy Lee, Darcy Lee, Darcy Lee, Darcy Lee, Darcy Lee.
I love it, and I love her for saying that's a bad place to put it. That was hilarious, wonderful accident that I delighted in. Thank you for that gift to all of us. I think it was you. All right, We have two more stand-ups for you tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming, for sticking around, and I would be remiss to not, of course, promote myself a tiny bit to say that if this looks like fun, so is. We have more classes coming up and starting soon. So my website is my name, CoreyRosen.com, and my handle on social media is StoryRosen. StoryRosen. And I'm so, here's my wish for the world. It's so self-serving, but I'm like 5 followers away from like a milestone. So if you would follow Story Rosen on Instagram specifically, then it would make me happy tonight. So so that's my little self plug. But this is not about me. This is about the cast and our wonderful stand-ups. So please welcome to the Zoom, as we would say, your next amazing story. Damn, I keep saying that. Our next amazing comic. Please welcome Helena True.
Please follow Corey. It's these little things that we can do. Hello, Zoomtopia. My name is Helena, as in going to hell in a handbasket. And I like to call this routine, it's my very first routine, and I'd like to call it, if life is a picnic, why do I have to carry the cornucopia? So currently, I'm not currently depressed. Really? Anyway, so people are really very uncomfortable with depression. I think it's because they resent our depression privilege. Everyone else, they have to come up with excuses of why they don't want to do the shit that they don't want to do. But people like us, not right now, but when I have DP, depression privilege, then all I have to do is say, like, I just can't. It's great. It's like some kind of like unholy freedom. So let's think about it. What's the difference really between freedom and debilitating depression? It's not guns. That's not it. I keep guessing. Did someone say Alaska? That's not it either. Closer. It's important to keep in mind that there may not be answers. So, I'm adopted.
I got a big laugh.
People usually just say, "Oh," but you know what actually bites is not getting adopted. If you are adopted, you have adoption privilege. It's one of the newer ones. You may not have heard of it, but it's getting a lot more recognition. What it really means is that if you think about, like, we're all dealt a deck of cards when we're born, you're like, what's our hand? If you have adoption privilege, you've got some special cards that are unique. Things like, if you trigger my abandonment, I get to behave like a abandoned baby emu. Another card says, I just may be biologically tuned to abuse drugs. And then I just got a new card. They sent it to me. It says, I'm an unknown entity. I may choose to believe my ancestors did not enslave people. Anyhow, I'm not really bothered by the whole adoption thing. Not much, not really much. But that's due to more pressing childhood woes. So I grew up in the 70s. So my trauma quota, because we all have one, and mine, it got filled up with other stuff like death and disease, Rosemary's Baby, which made being adopted, you know, it was just fine. And now that I know how to best use my adoption privilege, call it AP, it's awesome. The thing about being adopted and seemingly white is the seemingly part. It's who knows? Does anyone use 23andMe? It's a very, very, very clever genome sequencing Fonzie scheme. You pay them $100 to find out if you're cool. And they get to own your unique genetic code forever. Okay, fine. But am I cool? They keep updating the algorithm. One day I am cool. The next day, not cool. It fluctuates, which means my roots keep changing. I have been hoping that 23andMe will confirm that I am more interesting than I look. Frankishly, it's up and down. For a few years, I was 1% North African, and those were really good years for me. I felt, I don't know, I was just like free of it all. Then it turned out I'm not free. I mean, I'm not North African. Then for 2 weeks, I had a Japanese great-grandparent. Then sayonara. Currently, I am 3% Rhodesian Ridgeback, which is especially cool during COVID because I'll probably get adopted again. But honestly, I'm nearly all white. A lot of adopted people, they use the 23andMe to find a birth family, but not me. For me, my only interest is to not be so white. And as a person with AP, adoption privilege, I felt I had a real shot. And it's slipping away, just like my life, because I also have parent privilege. So I was thinking about all of this and trying to figure out a joke, like to connect my whiteness with my adoption, when my 8-year-old walked in saying, "Hey, Mom, what you doing?" So I used my white parent adoption privilege to get my Black adopted son to write the joke for me. Mommy, why do I use my adoption privilege? To overthrow my white privilege. Yes, I would totally accept a get out of white privilege free card from my very own son. And that is what's amazing about family. Even the good ones fuck you up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Helena True.
Helena! Whoa!
So good. So good. Oh my Lord, so much funny.
Oh, that's my grandmother's name.
Something that is so delightful about
Called her Helena.
yes, about this show is also that between our last class, which was only a few days ago, and now many of the jokes have changed, and even I got to hear and see things that have evolved in wonderful ways. So amazing. I want to just welcome back to the stage all of our performers tonight. Please keep it going for all of your friends, your family, yeah. And everyone, you're all still here. Clara, you're still here. Soham is still here. Mel is. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much. What a great show! What a great night. You all, I'm so proud of all of you. This was just such an amazing, wonderful accomplishment. And thanks for doing it. Please keep doing this and keep telling jokes and making people laugh. I love it. If anybody out there is interested in doing this, check out my website, CoreyRosen.com. Thank you for the 5 of you who followed me. I reached my milestone. I appreciate it. All right. That's our show. Thank you, everybody. Good night. It was wonderful seeing you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.